Hey, welcome back, everybody. HSC Podcast 41. 41? Sounds right. All right. We got Big Box Steve on the mic, Big Smooth, Derek, and Fresh Wes. So everybody back. Is this first
Thanksgiving edition?
Thanksgiving edition. I think the last two we only had me and Derek, and then before that we only had me and Wes. So are we back?
I think we had one in between where we were all three.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're back here with the three experts. Why do we call us experts? Because our picks up to this point are much better than all these experts, right? So this is where you guys should be watching. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and like, leave any comments. And for those of you listening on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, thanks for listening. So let's get this started again. We're going to talk just a little college football just for a second. And, come on, guys, Tennessee. Let's talk about Tennessee for a second. This is a team that everybody when they beat Alabama before they played Georgia, like everybody thought this was a playoff team, right?
I never believe in Tennessee, so that's my thing. So,
well, the experts did, right? They were ranked number one.
Yeah, but I showed you that graphic. Their best season in the last 15 years is 9-2, right? And I mean, they haven't been good.
They got destroyed, right? By South Carolina.
Mm-hmm. And even crappy Florida destroyed South Carolina. So, right. And then Hooker is out towards ACL.
He's out for the season, and that's going to hurt his draft, right? Because he's going to the draft. For me, that was the biggest one, right, for this week for college football. Was there a bigger loss, or what did you guys see in this college football week? Wes, we went to the game. How'd you feel about that Oregon-Utah game?
I like the defense. It's like it's been a while since I've seen Oregon play defense, and they actually did well against Utah. I mean, Rising had a bad game, but the game was just, I mean, you could tell Nix was hurt, and I guess it's probably a combination of his ankle and his leg, but he just was not moving around. He was not running, and you could just tell that he was banged up. So, it was a good game. It was kind of cold.
Yeah, it was super cold.
I warned everybody.
How do you think that goes for Oregon going into the Oregon State game? Because they got to win this, right, to go play USC.
I think Oregon State, you can't really look past Oregon State right now. They're playing well. They're well coached, and they're going to be ready. Just like Washington had a lot to prove. Everyone's talking about Oregon and the playoff and just kind of disrespecting Washington. Washington goes up there and just, wins the game. So I think it's going to be a tough. If Nix is not right, I see Oregon State probably winning that game.
Yeah, Oregon State winning the Civil War?
Well, I mean, it just depends if Nix is. I mean, we don't know.
He did not look good. Look,
no.
We played football. It's been a long time, but the way he was moving was not good.
No. Yeah, he couldn't throw. He wasn't throwing the ball. He just looked completely out of it. So it's just only they know, how he's gonna be. I think he's gonna be okay. I think Oregon, if he's 80%, I think they should win, but it's gonna be a tough game. Oregon State is just not. I mean, next year they're gonna be really good.
Yeah, Oregon State's they're definitely making their move. Derek, Ohio State, Michigan, who wins that game?
I gotta find out. Is it? It's in
Ohio
Ohio State. That's tough. I'd probably still go Ohio State. They're more talented. I don't think Michigan impresses me too much. But rivalry games, you never know. But I think Ohio State has this one.
I mean, is that the best game of the year so far? Ohio State, Michigan?
I mean, it's probably the most anticipated game because of just how good they both are. I mean, Michigan hasn't been this consistently good for years. And the only thing about Michigan, I'm picking Ohio State too, but the way Michigan runs the ball sometimes, they are awfully hard to stop.
Yeah.
And they really get going and they get everybody going. And it's just like their offensive line just opens up gaping holes.
And they have two good running backs. Like
Yeah.
Corum's not the only good running back there.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So they have two good running backs.
But that defensive line for Ohio State, they're not the rest of these teams. Those guys, there's NFL talent on that line, and they're not gonna. I don't believe they're gonna be moving them like they move everybody else.
So, all of this said, right now, because we're getting close, let's pick our national champion.
Oh no!
How about just our Final Four?
No, let's pick our national champion.
Oh, no.
Because you gotta do it early. You gotta do it early. Who's your national champion?
We don't even know what the teams are going to be in it, though.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, if you don't,
yeah,
that's why it's that's why we're experts. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
But with experts, it comes the matchups. I mean,
I'll go first because I'm just gonna go with my original pick. It's Ohio State. I just think at the end of the day,
you've been Ohio State since the beginning.
Yeah, I think Georgia's great, but I think if you get in a shootout with Stroud versus Bennett,
ooh,
I just think you know what I think actually
Marvin Harrison Jr. Jeez, that guy's
Marvin. Good. Yeah, come on, you Marvin Harrison Jr. Like
it's good.
That's your second option. Like, come on. Yeah, I just think that I think it will be Ohio State, Georgia, and I think Ohio State's just gonna outscore them,
okay.
And I think Ohio State's offense looked kind of wobbly at times, but I just don't see that in the playoff. I just think they're gonna turn on, and I think they're gonna beat Michigan by 2 touchdowns.
So Wes has got Ohio State. I'll go since Derek's still thinking about it. And I'm going to go opposite. I'm taking Michigan. You know why I'm taking Michigan?
Ooh.
Because the running game, look, in college football, you can't rely on your quarterbacks. You can't rely on your receivers. What you got to have is good defense, and you got to have a running game. And I'm going to take Michigan's running game to go out. So I'm taking Michigan with Corum.
Michigan's running game against Georgia's defense, huh?
Corum, Heisman Trophy winner.
Oh no, dude. What's going on here?
That's what I'm taking.
And then I am gonna triple go opposite, and I'm taking Georgia because you guys are talking offense. I'm talking defense, and defense wins championships.
Yeah.
And Georgia's defense, Jalen Carter is a beast up the middle, and no one on Michigan, no one on Ohio State has a Jalen Carter.
No.
And so I got Georgia back to back.
Back to back. That's tough, though. Like, how many teams go back to back?
I mean, but let's think about this. So Stetson Bennett, you're talking about him not in a shootout. He shot out Oregon.
Pullback. Yeah, but that's true.
Their defense is terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying
I like Stetson. I like Stetson Bennett.
He went from last year being a game manager who couldn't throw the ball and they had to run the ball all the time, and he was the deficit of the team. Now he can put it on his back and win a game for him.
Right. Yeah, and he is and he's doing things he hasn't done his whole career this year. So it's hard not to pick Georgia. but they're like the Patriots right now for me. Like I just don't like them.
I think we're kind of asking, we should be asking the question, honestly, who's going to be the fourth team? That's going to be the real issue, because I think you're going to have Texas Christian go
Right.
undefeated, and
Well, I mean,
USC
TCU wins. USC, if they beat Oregon, they're in the Pac-12
Yep.
championship.
If they have to beat Notre Dame and then
They're
Oregon.
going to beat
Right,
they're going to beat Notre Dame and Oregon, and I think they're in too, and then that leaves Texas Christian out, and I think people are going to.
No, because
Michigan, the loser of Michigan, Ohio
Yeah.
State's out.
They're out, yeah. So Michigan, Ohio State's out. So you got Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State. Well, let's call it Ohio State, just because that's what you guys see. Then TCU, and then USC if they beat Notre Dame and Oregon. Right.
But I think what they'll do is, even though TCU is undefeated, they'll be the 4th seed.
Well, yeah, but they're still in, right?
Yeah.
But so USC may be 3, but then TCU is still 4. They're still in. So USC, their fate's in their hands.
Yeah.
If they beat Notre Dame, they beat Oregon, they're in.
Yeah, I still think I'm a little shocked that Tennessee lost the way they did. So I'm assuming that Tennessee
done with Tennessee.
Done.
We're done with Tennessee.
Now what? So what happens here if, let's say, Michigan loses to Ohio State? We're forgetting LSU.
Right,
yeah.
LSU, but they have 2 losses.
But they have to beat Georgia. That's the problem.
Yeah. If they beat Georgia,
oh yeah, they're in. They got to be in.
With 2 losses, they get in.
Yep. If they beat Georgia, they beat Georgia. You got to have an SEC team in there.
You do, Georgia.
Well, but yeah,
you can't not put you can't not
you have to put
an undefeated TCU team in. You can't do
I'm saying here, okay, let's say Michigan loses to Ohio State big.
Right.
USC fumbles and loses to Oregon or Notre Dame. If LSU beats Georgia, they're in, right?
I mean, they could be, but then let's say USC's fumble is against Oregon, who beats Oregon State, then beats USC in the Pac-12 championship. They still have 2 losses too.
Yeah, but you still take an SEC 2-loss over or a Pac-12 2-loss, especially when one of Oregon's losses was to the team LSU would have beaten.
I think
I guess if LSU beats Georgia, I get it. I can go with that.
I don't think it will happen. I don't think LSU is that good.
Right.
No, not. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be a mess. I think you're going to see a lot of things, a lot of losses that you didn't expect. And I think isn't there still a Big Ten championship though?
That's what I was about to
say.
Right.
But is there any other team?
But
Illinois.
What if they lose? Right. What if Illinois beats? Right. Let's say Illinois beats Ohio State. Right. Like, then what are you talking about?
Then a team like Oregon is still in it.
Right.
Because if they beat USC.
Right.
Yeah. But they have to beat USC.
Eventually this could be the year that you do have a 2-loss team finally. I know it hasn't happened before.
Oh man,
but
it's tough.
Yeah,
I think LSU has the best chance though, because you're beating Georgia.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But you know what, Illinois has almost beat Michigan. I mean, Michigan's lucky to win that game, and they played them home. And so Illinois is capable of, playing well enough to win a game like that. I just don't think they will at Wild State.
Well,
what about if Oregon loses to Oregon State, and then Washington can come in?
Right, and then get into the S. Oh, geez. But then that's a 2-loss Washington team
that beat Oregon.
Yeah, but Oregon. Then now you lose to Oregon State. Now you got 3 losses. Now you're kind of trash. So I don't know that Washington gets up there. I think they take
Well,
Alabama over that point, right? I think they go to Alabama over Washington.
yeah,
Well, it's kind of interesting though. If you look, you have UCLA, Utah, Oregon State, USC, and Washington all ranked.
Right. I think that at right today, Pac-12 has the most ranked teams in the top 25, right?
I think so, yeah.
6 teams.
Yeah.
More than the SEC. Yeah, last time I looked at that, I thought that the Pac-12 had more than the SEC.
So how about this for the evil empire? LSU loses to Texas A&M. Alabama wins, gets in, plays Georgia again, beats Georgia. Is that, and then Alabama gets in.
Alabama. Fucking Alabama. The problem is Alabama's good, you know? That Tennessee loss, that could have went either way, right? You win on a last second field goal, barely. If Alabama doesn't lose that game, they're going to the playoff.
Yeah.
So college football is fun right now. That's all I gotta say.
Well, can we all admit though that Clemson has no chance?
Yeah, no.
Even with one loss, because the ACC is horrible.
Clemson's gonna lose to North Carolina in the championship.
Is it even going to be North Carolina?
Yeah, it's I think it has to be, right?
Well, let's see here.
Not really.
I think they already locked it down, even with the loss.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's nobody even close.
Yeah, no, I think they locked it down the week before that they lost. All right, so let's talk about last week in the NFL. We got week 11, which was an interesting week. We all had pretty good weeks. What was the most interesting game out there? What did you guys see? First, let's talk about the Chargers Kansas City game. Did you guys watch that game?
Yeah.
I didn't watch that.
Kansas City comes back and drives for the win within the last couple minutes. Like how is Kansas City that good still? I mean,
Well, I just didn't.
You lose Tyreek Hill, one of your main offensive weapons, but your offense is still really good.
Well, I mean, that game, what it was the Travis Kelce game. And it was weird because watching it, I really never felt, even if when they were losing, that Kansas City wasn't going to lose that game.
Yeah.
It didn't really feel like the Chargers had control of that game at all. And yeah, and then they just was like, oh, whenever we want, we'll just throw to Travis Kelce.
But they were still winning, they're up,
Yeah.
3 with a couple minutes left to play. Kansas City drives and wins the game. Is Kansas City that good, or is the Chargers defense that bad? What happened there?
I think it's just the AFC West coaches are that bad compared to Andy Reid.
So Andy's just better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He better game plan. I mean, how many years in a row are we going to say the Chargers are good and they're going to make the playoffs and they're going to do something in the playoffs? And we're talking back when, like, Phillip Rivers, we've been going probably like 20 years of the Chargers have the most talented team and then they don't do anything. Right?
I think that's a really good point, though, because when you look at the other 3 coaches in the AFC West, they're pretty bad. Like, I'm not a fan of any of those coaches. Like the Chargers, the Broncos, and the Raiders. I don't like any of those coaches.
Yeah.
I don't understand. The Chargers, I think their defense is 30th overall in the NFL. And so that's a head scratcher because they have talent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But Bosa's
You're
hurt,
30th.
right?
I think Bosa's back, isn't he? I don't know. I thought I saw Bosa out
I
there.
didn't see him in the last game.
I didn't. But they still got Derwin James. They got Khalil Mack, Drew Tranquil. They have and their head coach is a defensive-minded head coach, and it's pretty bad that their defense is so bad.
It is. It's surprising, actually. Like, you shouldn't have that poor of a defense when you have that many stars. So let's talk about Philly Indy for a second, though. So Philly wins 17-16 over Indianapolis. So what happens here? Like, is Philly this good? Because I've seen a lot of memes about Philly, about who they played. Have you guys looked at the list of who they played?
Well, I know they've had an easy schedule.
Right. So is Philly that good?
They haven't looked good the last few weeks. Now, could it be the midseason lull because they went undefeated and then now they're thinking they were taking it for granted? We'll see, because I'm pretty sure they got like the Niners coming up.
Yeah, they got a tough schedule. This is the hard part of their schedule comparatively to what they played so far.
Yeah. I think, of course, the Eagles, top to bottom, are a good team. There's not too many weak points in their starters, except possibly their quarterback, because I think everybody wants him to be good, really good, and he's good. But I think if you change things up on him, he kind of doesn't know what to do except run. And
Right.
you can't run all the time.
No,
You can't run all the time. And so I think when you start playing teams like the 49ers, you're going to figure out what he's going to be able to do against real pressure, because the 49ers are going to apply real pressure from every point. And that's where you're going to see if they could really do damage in the playoffs. I was kind of on the fence the whole year. In the last couple of weeks, I've seen, I especially the Washington game.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care about it's the Commanders. Come on.
You've seen some weakness in them, and I agree. Like, you've seen a lot of weakness in them. And so I guess, with Philly, you'll see it in the next few weeks. What about this Dallas-Minnesota game, though? So this was crazy, right? So Dallas wins 40-3. Like, come on.
I mean, we
talk
know
about that for a second.
The Cowboys defense, of course, is legit, but that's not what really that doesn't surprise me. But I'm just amazed, like Tony Pollard's play. I mean, he's kicked it into a different gear. That touchdown reception he had, I mean, that was a great play design. I got to admit, the CeeDee Lamb out and up, it really drew the defense over. But Pollard just took it into a different gear. He's good. And I like that combination of Zeke and him. I mean, let Zeke start because let him get hurt. Because he's the guy that, you know what, he can really turn it on. If he gets in the open field, he's electrifying. I was just shocked. I mean, how he's been playing lately. He plays like that. Dallas is dangerous. I hate to say it. I thought I'd never say that my whole entire life. They're legit Super Bowl contender if he plays like that.
See, I'm more of the Vikings. I think read too much of their press clippings and thought they were all that. And I think that they're like the Packers now, where they're playing a bunch of teams that aren't as good right now. And so it's making them think that they're all that.
Sure.
And for me, it's more them than the Eagles. I think it's kind of fool's gold because you do have Justin Jefferson and Thielen, but
And
Kirk Cousins disappears in big games. It's a fact.
I mean, they legitimately. I'm not a Kirk Cousins fan. Like, I don't think he's the greatest quarterback. But when you look at so they add Hawkinson at tight end, right? And now you got Thielen and Jefferson and Cook. I mean, put me in there, please. Like, I would love to quarterback those guys.
Yeah, just play catch. We're just gonna play catch.
Right?
Yeah.
So maybe it is Cousins.
Well, remember in the last game, he threw up that just blind thing to Justin Jefferson, and Jefferson did everything to make that catch.
Yeah.
But everyone talked about, oh, what a great play Cousins made. It's like, dude, he just threw the ball up in the air.
The ball's about ready to go out of bounds. And I remember watching the play, and I go, oh my God, he's gonna catch that.
Oh,
I have a feeling he's going to catch that. But I didn't think he'd catch it like that.
He made 2 or 3 catches in that game that solidify that he's a top 3 at least minimum, right?
Yeah.
But we'll talk about the Cowboys defense for a second. Is Cowboys defense as good as everybody thinks they are? Like, what do you think about the Cowboys defense?
Wes said they are. I don't believe it just yet.
Wes said they are.
Well, he did. You were when he
Yeah.
was talking. Micah Parsons is awesome. I still think their defensive backs are susceptible. I mean, Diggs has been playing better, but you still can get him on like double moves. And it was just, I think you just have to game plan smartly around them.
Yeah.
I don't think they're the 85 Bears.
No,
I mean,
no,
that's an unfair comparison. How good are they in the league right now?
Yeah, I think we're talking about Micah Parsons being that dominant and having a bunch of people around him that can make plays to a certain extent. Their secondary is not. I mean, that's not fair to judge them based on anything that Kirk Cousins does. It's Kirk Cousins.
Brown is good. Diggs is good.
He's good. Yeah,
they're both good. I mean, and you got decent safeties. You got a fair amount of linebackers. And I'm not going to compare Parsons to LT, but he's similar, right? He does the similar of what LT did.
We're talking about actually shutting down teams like the Bills, like teams like that.
So that's, and I don't think. So here's the question: Can the Cowboys defense come to play against Kansas City, Buffalo? When they go to the if they let's say the Cowboys go to the Super Bowl, which would be historical, monumental.
I can't even believe we're even talking about it.
But well, I mean, what are they? They're 7-3, right?
No.
I'm still thinking, I don't think if we're even, I know I can't believe I'm saying this, but now talking about a juggernaut offense with a juggernaut defense, the 49ers, I don't think they could handle the 49ers offense.
No.
So let's get into the 49ers for a second. They don't have a great record, but if I look over the NFC, I can't see a better team than the 49ers.
You see, when we were doing our picks at the beginning of the year of like who's making the playoffs and everything, we were all talking Trey Lance.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure, I don't know, I think Steve, you might have put him in, but I was like, they're not making the playoffs because of Trey Lance.
I put him in.
Yeah. If I said, even if I am more faithful, and if they had Garoppolo in, I'd say they make the playoffs. And that's it. If they had Trey Lance in there, I think they'd suck.
But then they had Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. To Debo and Kittle. Like, Kittle showed up. He came out of nowhere, right? He's one of the best tight ends in the NFL, but he was like not getting very many touches. And then go to Mexico, get himself a luchador mask, and all of a sudden he's beating one of my fantasy teams.
Well, and then Christian McCaffrey gets 6 receptions for 100 yards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they still got Elijah Mitchell.
Right.
So, because like Wes, you were saying about Ezekiel Elliott and Pollard, Mitchell and McCaffrey, is that on steroids?
Okay, so before we go to our predictions, here's my last question. Best team in the AFC, best team in the NFC. Go.
Oh God.
I guess I'll go. I'm going to say 49ers. And I know they've had some losses, but I'm still going the Bills.
Bills, 49ers. Wes, what do you got?
I'm going to take the 49ers and the Chiefs right now.
Ooh, yeah. Chiefs are tough. I'm going to go Dallas, and I'm going to go Tennessee. So different for both y'all, but not to say Dallas is going to win the Super Bowl. I'm just saying they're best team in the NFC right now. When they get the playoffs, they'll choke. Tennessee, Derrick Henry is a beast right now, and their defense is playing really well. So,
and I hate to say it, Tannehill is playing well too.
because you're not a Tannehill fan. All right, let's get into week 12. Let's do it. So week 12, here we go. Game 1. We got, of course, it's Thanksgiving. 3 games tomorrow.
3, yeah.
Buffalo at Detroit. Derek, what do you got?
This one, even though I just said Buffalo's the best team in the AFC, this one was a tough one for me.
Don't even say Detroit's going to win this game.
No, I think it's going to be closer than the 9.5 spread, though.
Mm-hmm.
The Bills have been, topsy-turvy. They were at home, snowed in, then had to go to Detroit. Now they're going back to Detroit. Detroit is actually the last 3 weeks is 3-0 in the NFC. That's the only 3-0 team in the NFC in the last 3 weeks. They're not as bad as they were at the beginning of the year, but I'm still taking the Bills, but it's going to be closer than a lot of people say.
So you got under the spread?
Yeah.
Wes, what do you think?
Yeah, Detroit's been playing well, and they beat the Giants last week, and no one's really talking about that. They
They dominated the Giants.
They dominated. They're up like 24-6 at one point.
Yeah.
And they end up winning by 13. So their offense is playing really well. They're 5th in the NFL in total offense. They're kind of hard to stop. I think they're going to give the Bills problems. I still think the Bills are going to win 29-24.
I mean, I agree. I definitely think the Bills are going to win, but I think they're going to cover. And so even though we're all going Bills, I got the Bills by 10. So to cover, the Bills were just in Detroit. Like, they're going to be comfortable. And Detroit's just not good against good teams. So I'm going to go Buffalo by 10. So New York. So we got the Giants at Dallas. Wes, what do you got?
I got the Cowboys winning the game pretty easily. I just think that they're just playing so well right now. And Giants are struggling. I think you're starting to see their offensive deficiencies at getting the ball down the field. They're starting to game plan against Daniel Jones running the ball. There's no, you're not getting away with that too much now against a team like the Cowboys. So I got the Cowboys by 17.
Wow, by 17. I thought I was big, but I agree with you because I think the Giants are being exploited now to their one-dimensional offense and their mediocre defense, and Dallas is on a roll. I don't know that that'll extend throughout the playoffs, but I do have Dallas also by 14 because I think the Giants are being exposed.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of it's funny when we talk about like coach of the year, and they usually do like whoever has the best records and stuff like that. But Brian Daboll, man, what he's done with the Giants, because
Yeah,
look, I
I
mean,
agree. I agree.
you can't even name a receiver they have right now.
Right. And or a
Um,
person on defense. Name a person on defense.
Leonard Williams. Yeah. But yeah, I'm still taking the Cowboys, but yeah, I think what you were saying 3 weeks ago, Steve, it's gonna start now for the Giants.
Right.
Actually last week, but yeah, they're gonna start piling up losses now.
Yeah,
And
it's
which
their
their
down.
team they kind of need it now. They need to get more good players. Yeah, defense, they need some playmakers. This is the game, whoever wins this game is probably getting OBJ.
Yeah. If the Giants win this game, though, like they look really good again.
Yeah.
I don't think they win, but if the Giants win, like this is a substantial game for them. So we'll see what happens. But we all got Dallas, so we better hope the Giants don't win. Let's see. New England at Minnesota. So this is a tough game. I think this is gonna be a very close game because it's at Minnesota. I'm gonna take Minnesota by a very, very close margin of 3. New England is just I hate New England, and they keep playing better than they should be. Like New England should be like 2-10. Like, come on, 2-8. You know, I mean, like these guys are trash, but they keep winning. But I'm still gonna take Minnesota by 3. Derek, what do you got?
This is primetime game, so I'm taking the Patriots here.
Oh, he's going on the Kirk Cousins prime time.
Yeah, plus, although I said at the beginning of the year Mac Jones is going to suck, and he sucks.
Yes,
But
he does suck.
I think the running game of Harris and Stevenson are going to help the Patriots win. Judon is the leading has most sacks in the NFL, and no one talks about him really.
Right.
I mean, and he's what, 3 more than Parsons right now. So yeah, I got the Patriots winning by 3.
Yeah, man, it's a tough, close game. So I'm not going to argue with that because I only got it 3 the other way. So Wes, what do you got?
I mean, what's a better team to go play after you get destroyed, by a defense? Go play Bill Belichick's defense. See how you do there.
Oh,
I think and of course, who am I starting on my fantasy? I got to start Kirk Cousins here. So it's just trending in the wrong direction. But the Pats are down 3 offensive linemen, 3 starters are out for this game. I just think the Vikings find a way to win the game. Justin Jefferson, I think, is playing. They won't say what's wrong with him, but he was limited this week. But I think he's going to play. I think Dalvin Cook's going to have a big game. They win. I think that the over-under is 42.5. I don't think it's going over. I think it's under. So I'm taking the Vikings 24-15.
Swing game.
Oh yeah. We got 2 Minnesotas, one New England. They're trying to make a move here. And so we got Tampa Bay at Cleveland. Derek.
Why not? I don't think I've picked the Browns more than maybe once this whole year, and I'm not picking them here. Tampa Bay is favored by 3.5. I just don't think the Browns are very good. Yeah, I think Tampa Bay, this is when they start to make their move. They've got a bunch of easy teams to play on their schedule. So yeah, I got Tampa by 7.
Wes, you agree with that?
Yeah, in general, I agree with that. I mean, Cleveland's not very good. Sometimes they're like, oh, they're going to be all right, and then they're not. So I'm taking Brady to continue to win ugly and do what you have to do when you're just not very good. But say they win 23-17.
Yeah, I mean, I can't disagree. I do think that weather might be an issue here because we don't know what it's going to look like in 3 or 4 days. Weather permitting, I'm taking Tampa by 7 as well. But I think if it becomes a nasty weather game, Cleveland has a chance. But I'm still taking Tampa by 7. Let's see. So this by far was my hardest game to pick. So Wes, we got Cincinnati at Tennessee. Big game for both teams. What do you got?
Yeah, this is a massive game it's a massive game for Cincy. The Titans got, I think, a 3.5 game lead.
Oh yeah, so I mean it's not as big for Tennessee as it is for Cincinnati.
It's kind of just kind of gauging where both teams are at because you're still kind of questioning, you're always questioning Tannehill because it's Tannehill and what they could do offensively.
You guys hate Tannehill. It's so funny.
Hey, $29 million. He's number 1 in the NFL in base salary. $29 million.
Oh my God.
So, but the next 2 weeks, the Bengals, I mean, now they say Chase should return. Mixon's got a concussion, so he's in protocol. So
yeah,
I don't.
But P. Ryan had 3 touchdowns last week.
Well, yeah, but this is the Titans. They're not. This isn't.
Yeah. Good.
I mean, they're playing the Titans here. This
is
legit defense. They're going to game plan it for that. And is Chase ready to come back? Maybe, but I wouldn't play him this week. I'd wait for the Chiefs.
No, Chase isn't playing.
You're going in the stretch run, and you want him healthy for the Chiefs in the stretch run. I would sit him this week. Take your lumps if you have to, but I'm still going to take Cincy. I still think that T. Higgins got a big game. I think Tannehill's going to find a way to go back to being who we know and we believe. Ryan
he Tannehill is who he thought he was.
Yes. Do it.
You are who you thought you were.
This is where we pull up the video clip.
Oh, where is he? Arizona guy. What's his name?
Denny Green.
Denny Green.
Dennis Green, yes. They are who we thought they were.
And we let him off the hook.
So this was the hardest game for me, so I just defaulted to Holly. It said, oh, no. Holly, what do you think is going to happen? And so she's making me take Tennessee. So I don't, because I mean, this could go either way, right? Tennessee's got a super strong running game and a good defense. Cincinnati with Jamar Chase, I probably take him, but I'm gonna go with Tennessee by 3.
Holly's a smart woman.
Don't tell her that.
Taking Tennessee, I wish Wes was here for this. Ryan Tannehill, last game, 22 of 27, 333 yards.
Oh, geez.
I know.
But you shouldn't just say Wes, because you say you too, Derek.
I know. But I said a few weeks ago that I was wrong about Malik Willis and that they need to play Tannehill. Right, I said that. So I'm not completely just.
It's okay to admit when you're wrong. We get it.
But I mean, it's regular season. Tannehill is what's okay. Right. It's the same as Lamar Jackson right now, right? The Baltimore Ravens, they always play well and then they make the playoffs and they don't do anything. This comes down to 2 things. Derrick Henry is going to run wild. And what is the biggest issue with the Bengals?
Pass protection. And
Tennessee's
they're the number 1 or number 2 sack team, right?
Yeah, and then think about what they did to the Chiefs with just 4 down linemen. I think Burrow's going to have a really tough time. I got Tennessee winning by 7.
Yeah, it's a tough game to pick. It's I might regret that pick.
It's a
You know
swing
what?
game. The swing game, Wes.
You know what? Hey, Joe Burrow, Ryan Tannehill. That's what it comes
Look,
down to.
so
Derrick Henry.
Here's the issue that I have though, is because I think that Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins, minus Jamar Chase, I would still take those guys as my number one, number two.
Yeah.
I would still take T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd as my number one, number two. Yeah. So they're good receivers. So I don't think Cincinnati loses a lot. I think what they're losing is Mixon.
Yeah.
Mixon not being 100% healthy. That's the only reason I agreed to take Holly's pick.
Well, and then here's another thing about Tennessee. Traylon Burks, their first round pick, was hurt most of the season.
Well, he's coming around. I mean,
yeah, he had 7 catches, 111 yards last week. So
yeah, and he's really good, really good.
Yeah, he'll have touch.
So let's see, Houston at Miami. So it's me. I think this is an easy at Miami pick. Miami plays well at home. I think they destroy them by. I think this is the biggest win of the week. I'm taking Miami by 20.
Yeah, they're talking. It's funny, they like Lovie Smith came out and said that Davis Mills isn't starting, and they're going with the backup. And then their offensive coordinator Pep Hamilton came out and says, "Oh, we haven't made a decision yet," but it doesn't really matter. I think the Texans are in CJ Stroud, Bryce Young mode now. They've thrown the white towel. They played hard at the beginning of the season, but they kind of know they're done. Yeah, I got Dolphins by 21.
Wes, who you got?
Yeah, and Dolphins are going to destroy them. I mean, Dolphins are averaging 7.3 yards per play. Kansas City's next 6.5. I was that's pretty crazy. Yeah, I just think that the Texans are the Texans. They're probably they're looking at Stroud or whatever they want to do, which nobody really cares because of the Texans. And they should be the Oilers, but I won't talk about it. But I was impressed with the Dolphins' running game as well. I mean, honestly, when you think about it, they got the 3 running backs that they can just kind of interchange if they want. So even though they're 27th in the league rushing, I think if they can actually get that going, that makes them even more dangerous. So I take the Dolphins 38-10.
Houston has one of the best pass defenses in the NFL. So take that for what it's worth.
Yeah. Dolphins have 2 of the top 5 receivers.
So another tough game here. So Derek, Chicago at the Jets.
Oh God.
Well, I was thinking about the Bears, but Fields is banged up and Zach Wilson was benched, so I'm going to take the Jets by 7.
It's at New York. Wes,
yeah, I mean, their defense is really tough, and then, like you said, Fields is banged up. And if I'm the Bears, you don't really want to.
I mean, Fields is their whole offense, so
yeah.
If Fields isn't healthy, it's a tough pick.
Yeah, and it's like you're not going to make the playoffs, so why bring him out there to get more hurt? So
let's just go for a top 5 pick.
Mm-hmm. Plus, the Jets are going to be flying high now that they benched Wilson.
Wow.
How do you feel about that, Wes?
Oh yeah, I mean, this game's gonna be ugly. I think on both sides of the ball. I think there's gonna be a lot of ugliness in this game because you're gonna have 2 backup quarterbacks. They're not playing Justin Fields, and if they do, they got serious problems. They're gonna put him out there with a separated shoulder. They shouldn't even think about doing that. So I think you got Trevor Siemian as their backup versus Mike White. That just sounds like an epic.
Or Joe Flacco.
No, they're going White.
They're going White. No, but Derek's right because I think it might get so bad that they might put Flacco in. So I still think the Jets you're talking they got a good defense and the Bears don't. So I'm taking the Jets 16-12. A barn burner.
Wow, 16-12. Harvard. So I'm in it. This is a swing game because I think the Bears are gonna play Fields because they're fucking stupid. And Fields is gonna rush for 120 yards and a touchdown. He's gonna throw for a touchdown, and the Jets can't score. And then Fields is gonna be out for a year and a half because he's gonna get injured. And then I'm gonna hate.
Fields
the
gonna lose his
Bears.
arm.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna go hang myself. So that's what's gonna happen. And the Bears are gonna win this game, and it's not gonna help them. They're not gonna make the playoffs. They're gonna get a worse draft pick, and Fields is gonna be out forever. But the Chicago's gonna win. So that's my pick here. So I got the Bears by 7. Oh God, it's rough. So Atlanta at Washington. Derek, what do you got?
I'm taking Wes's favorite team, the Commanders here. I just think the Falcons are on their last legs, and the Commanders are starting to find it with Heineke. So yeah, I got the Commanders by 5.
Wes, what you got?
Never picking the Commanders again.
I mean, you said you were never going to pick the Commanders again, but
No, I kind of like the Falcons. I like the way they're playing. I like Cordell Patterson. Cordell Patterson, I would like him on my team. He's been on my team, but he's a football player. He does everything, and I love players that are just just put me on the field and I'm gonna produce. And I think Mariota's kind of figuring it out. And I think if they used him right, he could be. I mean, just that combination. I just think that Washington is not. I think they've won 4 straight. Have they won 4 straight? They've had 4 straight wins on the road.
Well, they lost to the Panthers a few weeks ago, right?
Are you talking about Atlanta? Or are you talking about the
Washington? Washington.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about
Washington.
Yeah. No.
Once
Washington's on a roll.
Heineke, man.
Yeah, I think it ends at home. So I'm gonna take the Falcons 31-28.
Good. Thanks, Wes. Because I'm taking the Commanders. Yeah, I agree with Derek. Commanders at home. Washington's defense has been solid for weeks on end. So I think this is an easy win for Washington. Maybe not by a lot, by 7, but I'm taking the Commanders. Denver at Carolina, which I think is a tough game. Wes, what do you got?
Yeah, it's a tough game. It's tough because nobody's
suck.
going to want to watch it because it's now this week they're starting Sam Darnold. The reason why they're starting Sam Darnold is Baker Mayfield has a QBR of 17 and Walker has a QBR of 23.
Did you
if
see
you add them both together?
Dude, did you see what Steve Smith said about Baker Mayfield?
What?
He called him like a 3-legged monster. It was like he calls somebody 3-legged and he can't complete a pass, and he's playing against 4-legged thoroughbreds. I was like, dude, Steve Smith, come on, bro. That's brutal.
You know why he's not playing? Is because I saw a video of him headbutting other Panthers players without a helmet on. He's like out there headbutting, like, and everyone's like scratching their head. What are you doing, dude? I mean, it's just complete dysfunction with both teams. I just say it's Russell Wilson, I guess, is better than Sam Darnold because everybody's better than Sam Darnold except the other two quarterbacks for Carolina. So I'm taking the Broncos 20-13.
Oh man,
They're going to score 20 points.
They're I
I
mean
think
it's gonna.
I think it'll
So
score 20.
look, I'm taking the Broncos too, but I'm taking them 9-6. So that's what I'm taking, and unfortunately I'm taking the Broncos here because I think these are the two worst teams in the league. Just to be honest with you, and I'm taking Denver by 3. We got Derek.
Well, I'm a Russell Wilson hater.
Yes, you are.
But when your QBR is 32.4
Wow.
and you're getting paid as much as you are,
50 million.
Yeah, you better do something. And you can't keep blaming Hackett for this. You still got to make plays. But yeah, I'm still taking the Broncos because these teams are both bad. But it's gonna be like 5-3.
It's going to be 2-3.
They're playing baseball.
A ninth inning home run by Russell.
Or soccer. It's World Cup. So we're all in agreement there. Baltimore at Jacksonville. I think Baltimore wins this game fairly easily. But I mean, Jacksonville scores points and Baltimore has to score more. So I got Baltimore by 9, just because even though it's at Jacksonville, I think Baltimore is more talented. Derek, what do you got?
Yeah, I got the Ravens. Now that they've got Roquan Smith, their defense is a little bit better. I think they're going to start making their run because if you look at, their body of work this year, they could only have like one loss, really.
Right.
So I think they're starting to put it together, and the Jags were a nice story, but they're not that good. I got the Ravens by 10.
Wes.
Yeah, I got the Ravens. It'll be kind of close. The Ravens are kind of struggling offensively, but I think they'll put it together, and I think they win 27-24 over Jacksonville.
Well, it's a close game. Jacksonville fans might like that. Let's see. So, Derek, Chargers at Arizona. What do you got?
This one was a tough one for me.
That was a tough one.
Because, on paper, you're taking the Chargers. But I kind of feel like this is where the Chargers start having a lull and start losing some games. Kyler Murray's coming back. It's at home. I got the Cardinals winning by 3.
Did you not see the new
I don't care about Hard Knocks.
No, dude. It's Modern Warfare just dropped. New one.
Oh, you know what? It's doing Hard Knocks right now, so he's probably on his best behavior because he's being filmed.
It's the brand new Modern Warfare, dude. Like, Kyler Murray doesn't even care about football anymore.
Well, I'm still Colt McCoy then. Oh, well.
All right, Wes, what do you got? Chargers, Arizona.
I'm taking Arizona too. This is a tough game, but I just think that the Chargers don't play defense, and Arizona sometimes plays well, and then other times they play terrible, like they did against the Niners. But I just think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a good old-fashioned shootout, and I think it's going to come down to DeAndre Hopkins in the end. I think he's going to have 3 touchdowns. I think they win 39-37.
Nice. So this is a swing game because I'm going to take Chargers. Even though it's at Arizona, I don't think it matters. It's close enough. It's all warm weather. You got Keenan Allen, who came back a little bit or a lot in the last game. Show what he can do. And you might have Mike Williams, maybe you don't, but I think the Chargers win this game because they have to get to the playoffs to where they can lose. So they they need to win this game to get to lose to the playoffs. So I'm gonna take the Chargers by 7. So that's a swing game for us. All right, Wes. The Raiders at Seattle. How do you feel about your Raiders here?
Honestly, no, there's not enough time for me to tell you what I thought about the Raiders at this point. They did win last week, which was bizarre. That was a bizarre game.
Yeah. In overtime against the second worst team in the AFC.
Yeah. I'm gonna take the Raiders. Because I think that Seattle, they're a little confused offensively. And I think even though the Raiders have been confused all year, I think Devontae Adams is going to have that game where he has a couple touchdowns and like 170 yards. And Derek Carr is going to feel good about himself for about 3 hours. And I think they find a way to win that game. I think it's 28-24.
Yeah. I mean I could see that, but it's in Seattle, and I think Walker has a big game. And it's gonna be raining. So there's not gonna be a lot of, and it's cold and rainy in Seattle. And so I'm just gonna go with Seattle. I think Seattle wins this by 5. In Seattle. What do you got, Derek?
I was thinking about this one a lot because it's like, am I going to be a homer? Or am I going to take Seattle? And it just, I don't know how, it's not like scientific or how I could say it, but Derek Carr plays so much better when everyone thinks they suck, right? Think about it. All these games that they lost where they were favored, now everyone thinks they suck, right? Everyone's saying, oh, Carr's gone at the end of the year. This is all happening.
Yeah.
I don't think Seattle's that good. I mean, I
So
feel like
you win a game in Vegas and you're good.
no, I don't think the Raiders are that good either. I just think Seattle's like the Giants. I don't think
Right.
I think Geno Smith's kind of fool's gold.
Right.
You talked about Kenneth Walker. Well, you know what? The Raiders have one of the top 5 running backs in the NFL right now. And he can run all over Seattle's defense. So if it's bad weather, that's what's going to happen. I got the Raiders by 3. I could be wrong, but I just think the Seahawks have been playing above their station. And the Raiders have been playing way below their station. Because if you look at it, if you looked at it like just on paper without the wins, you have one of the top 5 running backs and one of the top 5 wide receivers in the NFL right now.
Right.
And without Renfro or Waller, it's kind of like now I think Carr felt like he needed to spread the ball around. Now he just is like, screw it. I could just throw it to Devontae Adams and he gets open. So it doesn't matter. He torched Surtain last week.
Yeah, and he had a great week, and I think he'll have a great week against Seattle. And but it will be tough in Seattle weather because you're going to have rain, and nobody wants to play in 40-degree and rain.
Walker, it kind of almost swayed me just because they're gonna run Walker, and Walker's a beast.
But listen, like the Raiders' defense sucks, right? And so that was the issue I had here. And you got DK Metcalf, you got Tyler Lockett, you got Walker.
Yeah, Nate Hobbs is back though, so that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I think this game could go either way. I definitely agree with that. That's why I was under a touchdown. but it's at Seattle, and Seattle plays well at home. That's the only reason I went there.
Didn't the Falcons beat them in Seattle?
I'm sure they did. But I'm still taking Seattle.
Yeah.
So let's see. The Rams at Kansas City. Wes, what do you got?
Oh, yeah, Kansas City. They're playing really well, and the Rams are playing really bad. And Stafford's not playing.
Might not even play, right?
Which it doesn't matter. I mean, it's just they're gonna
cut their running back Henderson.
Yeah, they cut Henderson. They're done. They're mailing it in right now and seeing what kind of pick they can get.
Well, they don't get their first round pick though.
Yeah.
Because remember, F them picks.
Right.
Oh no. I forgot. So yeah, so I'm taking Kansas City 20-6.
Yeah, I agree. Kansas City at home. I just don't think the Rams have a chance here. I mean, I said Kansas City by 10, but it could be more. But I'm taking Kansas City by 10. What you got, Derek?
I'm sorry, but this is hilarious. The Rams are set to go 7 straight years without a first round pick.
What?
Just keep trading players.
That's crazy.
So I'm trying to see who gets. Oh, Detroit. Detroit gets the Rams first round pick. Could you imagine at the beginning of the year? The spread is 15.5.
Right.
That's like we're talking that the Chiefs are playing the Panthers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you would never think the Rams and the Chargers or the Kansas City Chiefs would have that kind of
it's crazy.
Spread. That's insane.
But yeah, the Chiefs are going to win by 21 because I mean, the Rams have nothing right now on offense. The offensive line is horrible. Van Jefferson's good deep ball guy, but he's a complimentary guy. Allen Robinson has gone off the face of the planet. They've gone back to Cam Akers, but
their defense is solid.
Yeah, but not against the Chiefs.
Right. That's tough. Yeah.
And then you've even said that Jalen Ramsey's overrated.
Oh no, yeah, I'm not a big Jalen Ramsey fan at all, but I'm definitely an Aaron Donald fan.
Yeah, Donald is a beast, but the Chiefs got Chris Jones, and he's been playing really well. So, yeah, it's kind of a crazy.
He probably won that Chargers game.
Yeah.
So we got Kansas City here. So let's see, San Francisco or New Orleans at San Francisco. I'll lead off here. I got San Francisco by 2 touchdowns. It's at San Francisco. New Orleans is hit or miss. Never know what you're going to get. Even you get them good, it's not so good. And so San Francisco, I think, is the best emerging team right now. So I think they win by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, looking at this list, it's kind of hilarious. You've got the Browns, the Broncos, the Rams, and the Saints, all without a first-round pick. And we could see all of them being in the top 10 for draft picks next year. And yeah, so it's like, what did the trading your first-round pick get you?
Get you nothing.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm taking the Niners also, I think, by 14. I think the Saints are starting to pack it in now, even though they don't have their first round pick. It's like, why not just play Jameis?
Because Jameis is trash too.
Yeah, but at least he'll put up 400 yards, maybe 5 interceptions, but he'll give you 400 yards passing.
You kind of need
San Francisco's a team you want to put up interceptions against.
Unless they've already made up their mind that they're gonna try to draft a quarterback, or they have someone in mind that they want. Why wouldn't you throw him out there? Because Andy Dalton's not going to be your quarterback.
No.
At least you can figure out Jameis Winston can throw the football. He makes bad decisions, but you need to figure out if he can make good decisions. So you might as well play them. But they're not. They're going to play the Red Rocket, and they're going to get smoked. I'm taking the 49er. 36-13.
Ooh.
That's a big one. But that's not impossible. I don't. New Orleans does not look good. They look
Except
decent
against the
on
Raiders.
offense.
Yeah.
Everybody looks good against the Raiders.
It looks like they're going to the Super Bowl against the Raiders.
Except the Broncos. So the only team that doesn't look good against the Raiders.
Yeah. You got 2 of your 3 wins. Broncos. So yeah, that's a good pick. I think at home, San Francisco wins this. So Green Bay at Philadelphia. Derek, what do you got?
And we talked about the Eagles maybe being a little bit of fool's gold, but we know the Packers suck this year. It's in Philly. I got the Eagles by 10.
Wes, you agree with that?
Yeah, general. It just came out that with Rodgers broke his thumb.
Week 5.
So they says it doesn't require surgery, but you start screwing up your thumb, you're done. Yeah. You are done for the year. He can go out there and play the rest of the year, but he doesn't look right, and obviously we know why to a certain extent. So I think the Eagles get back to scoring more points and looking better against a team that's not very good at this point. I'm taking the Eagles 27-17.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Eagles definitely win this game, but I don't think it's a big spread. Just because the Eagles have not played anybody good or won by a lot against good teams. So I think they win this game because it's at home, and Green Bay is just not that great. But I only got Philadelphia by 3 in this game. To be honest with you, I don't think they really blow this out, but they still win.
Yeah, possible.
So last game of the week, Pittsburgh at Indianapolis. Derek, what do you got?
Well, this is a great game. I'm taking Jeff Saturday here, the Colts. Jonathan Taylor, I have Matt Ryan. They put Matt Ryan back in. What you guys talk about, it's Kenny Pickett. He's not going to win you many games. So, yeah, I'm taking the Colts by 3.
Yeah, I'm taking. This is not the most anticipated game of the week, definitely. So
Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Football. So yeah, I'm taking the Colts to tie. Get their second tie.
It helped you in the Vegas odds.
Yeah. But no, they're gonna beat the Steelers because the Steelers are in rebuilding mode, and they need to figure out if they're gonna have to draft a quarterback again after making that bad decision of drafting the quarterback at 20.
Right. Who
I don't think he's a first round pick. So I'm taking the Colts 24-7.
Oh, that's a big win. Pickett's terrible. I just don't like him. I think he's a horrible pick. I don't think I'd rather see Trubisky playing.
Well, we all know that, Steve. We love Trubisky.
With that said,
Trubisky, Patrick Mahomes.
Right. I'll take Mahomes. Like, it's an easy pick. But Pickett, Trubisky, like, come on. It's not a hard pick. I think the Steelers are just done. Like, I'm going to take the Colts here at home. I think Jonathan Taylor has a big game. So I'm taking the Colts, not by a big score, just by 7. So just taking the Colts here. So that's a tough week. So we got a few swing games here. People catch up. Let's see. Last week we are all pretty even, so not a big swing there. But overall, I will tell you, like, we're doing pretty good. Like, if you look at a lot of the expert picks and where we're at, like, people should be choosing our choosing our picks, right?
Yep.
I still feel like even though we're kind of like almost we are 2/3 of the way through the season, it's like you're flying blind sometimes in some of these picks because it's just like you still don't know which teams are going to show up.
This is a tough season. I think this is one of the hardest seasons in a while, to be honest with you. Like,
well,
typically, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Well, you kind of look at like last year though too. Like about this time you had like the Colts and you had the Chargers and you had like, the Dolphins, all these teams, they're like, oh, they're gonna make the playoffs. And then like the Steelers start to make a run, the Raiders start to make the run, the Patriots start to make a run. It's kind of like, is that going to happen again this year? Because if you look at the standings, for the AFC, I think the NFC is kind of set, really.
Yeah.
But you never know. Like one of the bottom teams can not bottom teams, but if you have like if you go
mid-level teams.
Yeah, 9 and 8 this year, you could make the playoffs.
Right. And especially when they all start playing each other,
Right.
So you got a lot of division games coming up, which is going to be tough, especially when you're talking about like NFC East. You got Commanders and Dallas and Giants, Philly. They're all playing each other. So that'll be a nightmare. And then, the AFC, you've got such a like everybody sucks or they're all good. Like there's no middle ground in the AFC. There's not much. There's a couple teams in the middle. So the AFC is going to be a nightmare.
Yeah. Like the whole AFC East, they're going to beat up each other.
Dude, 6-4 is the worst team.
Yeah.
7-3.
You're not going to have all 4 teams make the playoffs.
Right. And then 7-3 are the top 2 teams, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So that's going to be a nightmare. I'm kind of excited for this year, just to be honest with you guys. Like, I think this is one of the best NFL seasons we've seen as far as like, you don't know who the best team is. You don't know who's going to win. Like, it just doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter who's playing. Like, that's why our picks out there, we're just picking blind.
Yeah.
We don't really know who's going to win. And we're still winning games, though. I think we're all about 60 to 65% win percentage. I mean, if you're betting in Vegas, you're doing well. So wrap up HSC podcast last week. Fantasy. I'm still at the lead, 8-2.
9-2.
9-2. Derek,
Yeah.
you're still in the lead, and you're
I'm 8-3, and then Team Knight is 8-3.
Yeah, he's right behind me. I just beat him.
And Fresh Wes, he's now in second place.
Wes going for the playoffs.
It's won 4 straight.
And then Justin Fields gets hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Fantasy's interesting right now because you could definitely get some people off the waiver wire and on your bench that are scoring a lot of points.
Yeah.
I had Amari Cooper on my bench, scored 31 points. Or 20.
Well, and then you picked up Garoppolo, right? And then he had a big game.
Right. So the last thing I'll say about fantasy is like change your defense every week. That's what I learned. I stuck with one defense on one of my teams, and then I changed my defense on my other team every week. And that I've scored so many more points by just picking that defense that's available against the bad teams.
Yeah, defenses and kickers are expendable. It doesn't matter. Just
Right.
week to week, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so if you're keeping your defenses and your kickers, she's swapping them out.
Like this week, I pick up the Colts defense because they're playing the Steelers.
Right.
Would I have the Colts defense normally? No, but it's Pickett.
Yeah, switch out your defenses there. Well, big week tomorrow. Turkey Day, 3 games. What a fun day. Can't wait. Any final thoughts here, guys? Derek?
It's going to be good. I think 3 good games coming up. I like having a game early. I like the 9 o'clock, 9:30 games because it's just starting to get the turkey put in or whatever for me because we're having a later dinner. But yeah, it's nice to be able to watch some games and start off. I'm going to be interested with Bills Lions. It's two prolific offenses, and I got a soft spot for Dan Campbell.
And you get 9 hours of football.
Yeah.
Wes, what do you got?
Yeah. Even though the Lions are the only one of those teams that are, I mean, they don't look like that they have a chance to make the playoffs this year. They're 4-6 though. But all those teams, it's a really important game for them because you have the Bills. They can't lose any games at this point and think that you're going to have a chance to get home field advantage. You cannot lose to the Lions. You cannot lose to the Lions. And so they need to win that game. And then the Cowboys, they need to keep it rolling. I mean, the Giants are still tied with them in the division. And I think everyone forgets that they both have the same record. So Dallas needs to win that game. You got to see what the Giants are made of. Maybe the Giants come out and play. And then the late game is the Vikings. Are they good? That's the question. And the Patriots, are they even close to good? And if they're close to good, maybe they can make a run in the AFC East. It's a lot can happen tomorrow that could really kind of change the direction of the season. It's a big Thanksgiving's never usually that.
It's never been this big.
It's big.
Never been this big. And I'll tell you right now, I don't ever think I would never have thought that you come on Thanksgiving Day, Giants and Dallas would be one of the most pivotal games in the NFC. 7-3, Giants and Dallas. I can't wait to watch this game. I'll be honest with you. Like, this is going to be my favorite game this week is on Thanksgiving to watch the Giants and Dallas play. And I'd like to, I think Dallas will win the game, but if the Giants get their running game going and Barkley gets going, you never know what can happen, right?
You never know. Barkley could just pull a Randy Moss and score 3 touchdowns.
Run for like 200 yards, right?
Yeah.
So, for me, that's exciting. And I never would have thought that we would have this good of a Thanksgiving Day game.
Well, what's funny is you still have Bills are favored by 9.5. Cowboys are favored by 10. So it's
crazy.
It's like they don't respect the Giants at all.
No, not at all. Not at all. But it's in Dallas, so I get it. But still, so that's my final thought is like, we haven't had this good of a Thanksgiving lineup in a while, in my opinion. So good times tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and like. If you're listening on Anchor or Apple Podcasts or Spotify, thanks for listening. Don't forget to leave any comments, and we will see you guys next week.